Hey guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom Premium. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm Donald.
And I'm John.
And we are back, and that's Nico. We are back, see, to start a whole new series, Marvel's What If. It is on Disney Plus. It has already aired 3 episodes, I believe. We're going to be talking about those first 3. We are doing these in... Excuse me, good God. We are doing these in a block because when I first started planning the schedule, I thought I would be in Korea in a few weeks, and that got pushed back. And when we started podcasting full time, I had to figure out like the shorter 30-minute shows. Some of the animated shows that we're doing, they need to be more than 1 episode per podcast, just to kind of make it worth our time to do it and the work that it takes editing and all that stuff. So we're going to be talking about the first 3 episodes tonight, and then in a few weeks we'll come back and talk about the next 2 or 3 episodes. We're going to shoot the shit for a bit before we do, but I just want to remind you that you are listening to this. If you're listening to this anywhere other than Patreon, that means that this is a sneak peek to Patreon content. When we first cover a new show or the first episode of a new season, we put that podcast out on our free channels as a gift and an enticement to come and subscribe, maybe, whatever. But if you want to become a premium listener and hear us talk about other stuff like Attack on Titan, you can sign up at patreon.com/podcastfandom. All right. Shooting the shit. I literally have nothing. I might have some stuff like once y'all start talking. I didn't plan on it, and I really don't have it. Like, everything I have to say is incredibly depressing, so.
Oh, well, let's get to it.
Nah. I don't know. Are you guys happy? Because I'm not. Like, I feel like the world is terrible.
Like, in general?
Right.
No.
Okay, good.
I don't think I've ever been happy. But
really?
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the world sucks right now. So like, it's hard to be any kind of happy. Like, it's hard to feel any happiness.
And it's hard to like, when you do feel happiness, like, and maybe happy is too strong, but I mean, I do feel moments of like, good things happening, like something good will happen, even if it's just something small, like a funny moment with my kids, or like just now downstairs hanging out with the dog and Donnie and Kaylee, and we're laughing at stuff. Like, I'm capable of feeling joy sometimes.
I'm not brag about it.
But it's like, what's the point sometimes? Like, it just feels like there's just underlying other shit that it's like, yeah, this is good, but it's like, there's Afghanistan, there's Haiti, there's Louisiana with the fucking hurricane, there's COVID still.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking postponed my trip. I'm trying to feel like people are like, oh, do a staycation. I have my friends want to chip in money to help me pay for a hotel for a few days, and that's all good shit. Y'all, I have fucking talked myself out of doing this for like a full week. I sit here, I pull up hotels, I have the dates picked, and then I'm just like, oh, but the kids. Oh, but this. Oh, but that. Oh, but who do I think I am just to go sit in a hotel room all day? Like, that's stupid. Suck it up. So anyway, look, I just brought everything down. I'm sorry.
I mean, I just like, yeah, that's stupid. Like, go sit in a fucking hotel.
But it's like, it costs me.
Be sad in a hotel.
I know, but it's like, who am I? Well, I just to stay in this bedroom and be miserable. Like, who do I think I am that I get to go somewhere else and be miserable? The world sucks. So I just felt guilt about that, and I'm just like, no, that's so dumb. Like,
Yeah, it is.
Right? Why is my dog losing his shit?
No, Kaylee took my side.
There's probably people out there. He doesn't like people either. He's like his
People,
mom.
cat. You don't like
Took his
cats.
plate
You don't
away.
like.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I don't know. John, what about you?
Yeah, you should go. I mean, like, why not?
Because, John, okay. If I go, this is what I'm going to do. I think I picked days. I thought, okay, September 15th, which is a Wednesday through Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, and I was like, you should get a hotel that has like a fridge in the room so you can like bring snack stuff so you're not like spending all your money like ordering food or room service or whatever. So just like you need that. And I was like, a bed. That's all I need. Maybe a nice view. I don't know. But like, what would I like? I want to do nothing, but I know that I won't. You guys, I will take this fucking computer. I will take this microphone. I will be scheduling podcasts. I'll be posting them on the thing. I'll still want to do my Korean studies because I feel like if I don't study, if I go 2 days without speaking Korean, I feel like I've forgotten every fucking thing. I feel like a loser. I know myself. I won't fucking enjoy it. And I'll just sit there and it'll just be a waste of money. But it would be great if I could do that here. But I can't.
Take one of those Al Bundy staycations.
Can I just lock the bedroom door and seal it off?
Oh no, y'all didn't watch Married with Children, I guess, right?
I did, but it was like a long time ago.
When he would go on vacation, he would just sit on the couch and he would like surround the couch with like gates. And then his family just couldn't talk to him.
Like baby gates?
Yeah. And so like he would open the gate, walk into his couch room thing, and just sit there, and nobody could talk to him.
Ah.
That was his vacation.
Oh, God.
I hate that show. Like as I've grown up, I hate that show because they lived in a nice house. And they were like, we're poor. And it was like, are you though?
Wait, was that a nice house?
It had 2 floors.
It's like they had a
They had
roof.
stairs. They had a basement.
They had a backyard, right? Wasn't it like a sliding door behind the couch? That like dining. What was that room behind the couch?
That was one of the kids' bedrooms, I thought.
No, there was like I'm pretty sure there, like behind the couch to the left, like if you're looking at the screen and he's sitting on the couch, to your left, those were the kitchen. Yes. To your left behind him is the stairs, but like directly and kind of to the right, like where you would walk behind the couch to go open the front door, there's like space. I thought that was like another room, like an open space. And then that wall was the sliding doors to go to the backyard, wasn't it?
Yeah, like directly behind the couch. I didn't know we were going to talk. It's so funny.
I know. I'm looking it up now.
Directly behind the couch was like the door to the backyard. And then before you get to the door to the backyard, to the left was the door to the basement. And I don't remember. I don't think there was another room to the right across from the basement door. I think.
Okay, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it's behind the couch is the stairs, and then to the right of that is the door. But what I meant by room is just like that. There's room there, though.
Right, it's open.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I mean, it's like they have a fucking bookcase over there, and there's a desk and chairs. Like it's space. I guess this was a nice house.
Yeah, you're damn right it was. That's those poor houses from like the 80s where it's like everybody just actually had a house.
That's what it was like to be white.
Everybody got that loan.
It's just even poor white people are doing better than the rest of us. Donnie, hold on a second. Can you please, I don't want to pick up my phone because okay, never mind. It's preparing. We had ordered food and I just want to make sure that I don't miss, sometimes like the delivery person can't find the place or some shit like that.
So the thing that I wanted to talk about, that's why I asked to shoot the shit on this one, is because I wanted to talk about, I think y'all are watching it too, is the show Reservation Dogs.
Yes, I am.
I'm not watching it.
I think it's so good.
I watched the first one.
I'm enjoying it so much, and not just like it's not even spoilery reasons. Like I could talk about it without even talking about the story. Like what I really enjoy about it is obviously like Reservation Dogs. It's supposed to be like Reservoir Dogs, and like the way they're making it, I feel like they're doing such a good job of like capturing that 90s indie film like vibe, and but at the same time they're like marrying that to like contemporary comedies like Atlanta or like Insecure or like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It feels very similar to that. I really like the way that it's so interesting because you look. I mean, I talked to myself about this for like an hour, so you can tell me you can tell me to shut up if you want, whenever you want me to. But like, I just think about like in the 90s, right? Like when indie film happened, like the big indie boom of like Tarantino and Kevin Smith and stuff like that. Like the way that what they introduced to indie film, to film at all, was the referential nature of like talking about other pop culture, right? I think Reservoir Dogs opens with like they're talking about like Madonna,
right.
And like, and obviously like Kevin Smith, Clerks is full of that stuff. And like, in what I like about Reservoir Dogs is they're consciously recreating that.
Reservation Dogs.
Yes, Reservation Dogs.
Okay.
Did I say Reservoir Dogs?
Yes. I was like, wait,
yes,
okay.
It's hard. They're very
I thought we were going backwards. Okay, no, but we're on the new thing. Okay, got it. So
what I like really about Reservation Dogs is that they're consciously doing it. They're consciously recreating like they mentioned like Willow, like her name is the same as the character in the movie Willow, and I think they mentioned Lord of the Rings and like, but like they're intentionally doing that to evoke like nostalgia for another media that was already evoking a nostalgia for another media. And I really enjoy that. I just think it's like layers, and it just shows you like how pop culture evolves over time, right? Like the way that they introduced this kind of thing in the 90s, and then now it's old enough that new things are like referencing those old things in the 90s. I like it. It's just a lot of fun just to watch something like that and see like the influences and recognize the influences, and it's a lot of fun. It's just really fun.
So my friend, I was on Twitter just now trying to see if I could find it, and while you're talking, of course I can't. So my friend is, I wanted to say the right word. I didn't want to like fuck it up. And so I'm looking at her Twitter to see. So she's a tribal attorney. And, you guys know who I'm talking about, right? In Arizona. Do you guys know which friend I'm talking about? Chris.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Black woman. And so I get a lot of my information about what's going on in indigenous communities from her, and I've learned a lot from her. And I was curious because she did tweet about this show, and I was trying to find it, and I feel like it wasn't negative by any means. It wasn't like she wasn't like crazy raving over it, but she had made a comparison that I thought was interesting, having only seen the first episode, and I wanted to find it to get it right, but of course I can't find it. So I will just say that she mentioned Atlanta. And I could see that just from the first episode. I like the the scene where you think it's gonna be like a drive-by, like a Boys in the Hood. Yeah, and it's just painful. How dramatic they were. Like, oh.
Yeah, like it was like.
I was so glad that wasn't a real thing, because I was like, I don't want that to happen to these kids, like anything like that in this show. But okay, Donnie, how much have you seen?
I believe I'm caught up.
How many episodes?
If the last one was about the weed, then I'm caught up. I can't remember.
Did you watch the one this week? Because I haven't watched it yet.
When does it come out?
I think it's Sunday, right?
Okay, if it's Sunday, then I have not watched the new one. The last one I watched was the weed one with the old guy.
There've been 4 episodes.
Yeah, I think that's all I've just watched. Yeah, all I know is the last one I watched was the weed episode.
But no, so you haven't seen the latest one, like the one before this latest one. The one after the uncle was about the guy's dad.
I don't think I've seen that then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's the 4th episode. So you've seen 3. And I really like it. Like you mentioned, like Atlanta. Like I do see like comparisons. Like I mentioned, like it looks like it has like the contemporary like comedy sensibilities of like Atlanta or Insecure or Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That kind of like, and those shows themselves kind of evoke indie film in how they're made. Mm-hmm. And so like I really like the craftsmanship of the show. Like even like I said, like you don't even have to talk about the plot of the show, even though I like the plot. It's just like beyond just the plot, like just the way it's being made. I just really enjoy it.
I'll get caught up. I am very much liking.
Hulu's killing it right now. I want just like with everything they've
Wait,
got.
say it again. I missed the first part.
I just said Hulu's killing it.
Okay.
They between that like because they signed a deal with FX where they get all the FX shows like the day after they show on TV, but then they also get FX shows that are just made for Hulu. Like the American Horror Stories is made just for Hulu.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that.
What's the one we're getting ready to podcast? The Why the Last Man. That's directly just for Hulu.
Yeah.
So they and then like I watched the premiere of the new American Horror Story. And it's a 2-episode premiere, and I really liked it. I think this season's gonna be fun on that one. And even the movie that just came out with John Cena, that shit was funny as fuck too.
Which one was that?
I don't know. It's the wedding. I don't know what it is, but it just came out Friday. A few people in the group were talking about it. But that shit was funny. Like out of the streaming, like Hulu for me is coming up out of this streaming services. Like I don't even turn on Amazon Prime anymore. But for me right now, I think Hulu's got the better content.
Amazon Prime.
Like there hasn't been shit on Amazon Prime in a while.
I just want to say I found the Reservation Dogs tweet, and because Twitter is a fucking asshole in design, and like, why do they do that thing where they just move shit for you? Also, what is that noise? Is it storming where you are, John?
Yeah, it's started storming. I think it's the hurricane.
Okay. I didn't know, like, it, I was like, is that outside our window? Is Donnie brushing on his mic? It doesn't bother me. I was just curious. Okay. So, this is what it says. So Reservation Dogs. A couple of weeks ago, I said it reminded me of Atlanta. She wrote this on August 23rd. Watching the new episode and being Black in tribal spaces and experiencing the anti-Blackness in those spaces, it's weird to see unacknowledged Black aesthetic written all over it. Ooh. And then someone else said, absolutely, I see this all the time. For me, I was raised in a community of natives, Blacks, and a lot of Asian Latino. The way I remember it, when looking to be cool or whatever, the only comfortable spaces were Black culture aspects. It's so layered. And then she said, super layered. That's why I'll keep watching, because I'm curious about if they'll ever address it, even as a wink and a nod. Interesting. But good. I'm glad that it's good because, like I said, I watched the first episode and I liked it. I checked it out because of Zahn McClarnon.
Yeah, he's great in it. He plays the cop.
Yeah. And so I just remember, like, when it was announced, like, that he had this new series, I was like, okay, I definitely check that out. And then I remember liking the trailer. So,
do y'all recognize the lead actress on it?
I don't remember like I said, I only watched that one episode weeks ago. I don't remember what she looks like. I don't remember who she is.
She was on American Gods.
Which one?
What was the name? Like Black Crow?
Oh, is that her? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't No, I don't remember that being her at all. Okay.
Yeah, Joanna Hare, Devery Jacobs.
Oh, okay. I feel like there was something else. I brought up something and now I can't remember. All right. All right. So, okay, we're going to talk about this show. I have to tell you guys though. Got to be honest. You guys already know this, but people at home don't. I literally have nothing to say about that first episode. I tried, you guys. I don't have anything to, like, I'm not going to contribute to discussions about the first episode of What If. I don't, and I'll tell you guys right now why. Okay. I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it.
Okay.
It's two things. Well, there was one reason. Then I watched episodes 2 and 3, and then I realized there was another reason. Well, one, I just don't care about Peggy. I don't. I didn't watch, Agent Carter. Haley Atwell is lovely, although I don't know what the fuck anybody who's dating Tom Cruise, I'm just going to side eye you because you got to make better life choices. But
is she dating Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, she went through that whole Scientology vetting process, and they liked her
because they're in. They did Mission. They just wrapped Mission Impossible 7 together.
And it's just a weird, like, it's so weird to me that people find Tom Cruise attractive. Like, he's Tom Cruise. What the fuck do you talk about with Tom Cruise? Like, what does he have going on other than making movies that he could possibly talk to you about that you'd be like, this is somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with? I'm not making a lot of sense right now. I hope somebody listening to this and they feel what I'm saying. I just don't get it. It's Tom Cruise.
I mean, also, he's like 20 years older than she is.
Also that. But it's like, and you know, it's so funny because I said this about Tom Cruise years and years and years and years and years ago. It might have been the whole couch jumping thing that I remember watching him in an interview and feeling like, oh, he's just a goofy white guy who's been, you know, what they consider traditionally attractive, you know, for white folks. It's like, oh, you got pretty eyes. Okay. You know, don't take much. Okay.
Hey, Nina, don't be glib. Okay.
Don't be glib. Right. But like stuff like that, right? Like that whole thing, his whole thing. I'm like, oh, this is a guy who's never had to try to be likable. He doesn't have to try. Like he doesn't like every interview I've seen with him, he doesn't really have a personality other than movie star, adventurer, rich guy. Like, if that makes sense. Like, and I'm sure there are other things to him, but I can't imagine what they are because I just feels like he exists to make movies and do interviews about those movies. And that's it. Like, who is he? Like, what are you, Tom Cruise?
It is very uncomfortable. Like you said, he feels very much like a movie star. Mm-hmm. Like he feels very much like, and he does. Like when he's in an interview and he's talking about a movie, it's like fine. And he's talking about his stunts that he does. It's like, hey, that's entertaining, sure. But like when you think about like beyond that,
right?
It's like he is absolutely, he's a 60-year-old guy who's been famous for like 40 fucking years,
right?
And like and rich and just and like he doesn't feel like he has any connection to reality.
To the right. And you know, and so when we hear these stories about celebrities doing shit and like getting away with it, like, and we're just like, what? They said what? Or they did this? Or you know, like when you hear somebody like R. Kelly say something like, I should be able to have sex with young girls because I'm a genius. Like, look what I've given to the world. Like that type of shit. We hear that stuff and it's like, oh, you motherfuckers are very much divorced from reality. You motherfuckers are fucking insane. And yet when it happens, like I'm still shocked. I'm like, how are you this divorced from reality? He just strikes me as somebody like, what would you talk about? Like, when's the last time he went to a fucking supermarket? Like, does he know the cost of a gallon of milk? Does he know what it's like to like have to wait in line for something? Like his life just feels like it's a different type, like a lifestyle that I would never understand. And so like, what are his hobbies besides like racing things and doing stunts? Like, what are you, like, what
I know he apparently watches a lot of movies.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Like, you see what he just strikes me as somebody who's just so it's like, girl, what? Like, I cannot and then on the other side of that, it's like, I don't even think he's that attractive. Like, why aren't we over Tom Cruise? Like you say, he's like 60. Like, what? Haley, girl, no. Anyway, I don't give a shit about I almost said Haley Atwell, but that's not true. I like her enough, I guess. I don't know. I don't give a fuck about Peggy. And I didn't really like that Captain America movie. I know a lot of y'all like, what it's so great. I found it boring. I found it slow. I didn't really care. I don't like to rewatch it. So that was my first thing. I was like, I really don't have a connection to Peggy. I really don't have all that much of a connection to Steve. And I was just like, okay. Then I watched the other two. So then I was like, oh, this ain't going to work. I'm probably not going to want to podcast this. It's going to suck. Everybody's excited. Ugh. Then I watched the other two, and I realized the other reason is because, like, that one felt like the movie with just her in his role. These two and three, felt like different stories. Like, way different. Like, that's... do you get what I mean? Like, the difference between saying, what if Donnie and Nina switch places for the day, as opposed to, oh, but no, what if Nina went to this country and did this, and then while she was doing that, Donnie went and joined this team with John and did this. Like, way more things were different and changed, and the dynamics were different. So it was, and so it was, even when you're watching things that you're kind of familiar with, like the scenes from the other movies in 3 and the scenes from the beginning of the Guardians of the Galaxy with, you know what I mean? So you were in familiar situations just like the first one, but they were so different that I just felt like I was watching something new, whereas the other one, it just didn't. So the first one didn't work for me, and you guys are welcome to talk about it as long as you need to, but I don't have anything to contribute.
Well, I say, like, I've liked all 3 of these episodes, and for different reasons. Like, for like the same thing that you're saying, like, I liked the first one because it was, like, I feel like these 3 episodes have shown 3 different ways for this show to exist. And that's something that I've enjoyed, is like, that first one was really just, what if she were Captain America, or like, you know, Captain Carter? Like, and it was very, like, it went almost beat for beat for the movie. And I enjoyed that, because then the reason that I enjoyed that first one is, number one, I do really like First Avenger. I think I like the movie. But then I liked the way that, like, it showed, like, the sexism of, you know, of especially that time, and of the world in general. Like, the fact that we saw, like, how he became Captain America was they put him on this USO tour, and he was like the face of the army. And because she's a woman, they're like, fuck that. But they canceled all that, and like they're saying, oh, this is ruined. I liked that. I thought that was a nice way to show how it would have been different if she had gotten the serum instead of him. And so I liked that. But then the second one, I liked it, like you said, because it was wildly different. It was still very in the same tone of, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? It was still like the same kind of story, where, like, he's just like T'Challa became Star-Lord, and then, like, that was just, you know, and then it, you know, obviously, like, ripple effect, and like, but it was still very similar in tone to the movie. And then the third one is just completely fucking different. Yeah, it's like, oh, what if they were getting murdered? It's like I was like so, like, I enjoy, like, the variety of what this show can be. And I think we've seen it in these first 3, and I don't even know, like, they could do a fourth one, like, that is even different from how these 3 were. Like, and I like that. I that's what I wasn't sure what to really expect from this show, but, like, that's what I've enjoyed about these first 3, is that they all feel very different in how they've approached the what if question.
Yeah, I could see that. Fair enough. Donnie?
To be honest, I didn't like any of the episodes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We got a variety on just us. See?
I did not know this at all. We have not. This isn't, you know, like I said, I watched the first one, like, right away. And, like, the next day or whatever, I was like, man, this is gonna... So I wasn't really in a rush. But then I watched the other 2 when I knew it was closer to us possibly, you know, recording. And I was like, cool with the other 2. But Donnie and I didn't talk about it. So why didn't you like them?
Well, the first one, like you said, it was just, I didn't care. I never cared about that whole first Captain America. I couldn't tell you a fucking thing about that movie either. Okay. And There's just small little issues with the other two. I just didn't. To me, it just didn't. I didn't believe the stories, if that makes any sense. That here you are, you have Black Panther could change the whole what Thanos was ultimately going to do.
You know what? No, sir. We are not going to question that charismatic motherfucker. No, we are not. In a fucking universe of fucking titans and superheroes and talking raccoons, that wasn't believable. That brilliant, fine ass black man could go and fucking bewitch the entire universe. I think the fuck not. Next.
And then the third one, I didn't like that the ultimate villain was fucking Yellow Jacket.
That shit was hilarious. What's wrong with you?
It doesn't make sense to me.
Because it's not, yeah, but like when you say makes sense, like I feel like that's a hard, like it's not. So okay, I'm really taking issue with makes sense. So you just feel like these should be like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, what do you think makes sense? Like, just not believable that these things would happen? Not believable that they would do that?
The Ant-Man franchise doesn't seem like it's that intertwined with the MCU, other than Ant-Man himself.
Okay, but you understand that, like, in the Marvel universe, not the MCU, like, Hank Pym is an important person.
I guess and maybe that's my fault because I don't know that character that much other than Ant-Man movies. I'm not into comic book.
Right.
So no, what I know about Marvel is from the MCU.
Okay.
So maybe that's my issue then with these.
Okay.
I mean, but I thought it was cool the way that he killed people.
Yeah, like all of that was so cool. And I immediately was like, who do we know that can be invisible at first? But then when like he was fighting Natasha, I was like, oh, it's a small thing. Okay, it is a small, and I didn't think that it would be Ant-Man. But yeah, I thought that was, man, Donnie. All right, let's talk about that.
Yeah, like the way
you are just being the worst right now.
Like, it was so wild, like just seeing them die.
Yeah.
Like it was like, what the fuck? Just like I knew, because like the synopsis of the episode, I knew it, right? So I knew that was gonna happen, but I just seeing it, and it was like, what the fuck? And then like, here comes fucking Hulk blowing the fuck up.
You know what? I didn't know what the premises were, except for like the early promo stuff. Like I knew we were getting Peggy as Cap, and I think I knew that T'Challa would be Star-Lord. I definitely didn't know anything about, but like I didn't know like that was the second episode, if that makes sense. Like the little bit I knew about some of the things we were going to see came from like early promo stuff, but then I knew I was going to watch it, so I haven't watched any trailers. So I didn't know what the episodes were about until I turned them on. The first one was the only one I knew because they had been promoting it and I was paying attention, but people talked about it. But 2 and 3, I just wasn't paying attention. And so when I didn't know what they were going to be about, and I loved it. Well, I knew that T'Challa was the second one because they were making a big deal about that. Right. But I didn't know that this whole, what it was going to be about. Like him literally being Star-Lord. It's like, oh, not just like, oh, no, he was T'Challa and then he became Star-Lord, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't realize he would be plucked out of his life and still be that same person. His life went differently.
I tell you, I was, in that second episode, I was ready to be pissed.
Why?
Because I was like, for what reason did Wakanda get fucking destroyed?
Oh, yeah! Oh, my God! All right, let's talk about it.
And then revealed that was a lie. I was like, okay.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the episode. So episode 2 is What If T'Challa Became Star-Lord? I will say this opening with... Oh, wait a minute. If y'all want to talk about episode 1, you can't. I have no notes. My notes start with episode 2. I don't have anything to say. I legit though. I'm sorry.
I think the main thing that I wanted to say about that one is that I really enjoyed, like I said, the showing of like how it would have been sexist against her. The system would have been sexist against Peggy. And it's like, even though she's fucking super soldier, they're like, nope, can't do it. She's a woman.
You know what I do want to ask, because again, I'm not very like I don't really care for the movie. I've seen it maybe once or twice. I know Bucky, we think he dies in it, right? And I remember, again, not knowing a lot about Captain America from the comics and the Howling Commandos and all that stuff. I just know that I remember after watching the movie, reading a review, and the reviewer said something like, talked about the death scene or whatever, and saying, like, and we know this opens the door for him to become the Winter Soldier later. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't know comic book stuff. But in this, watching the What If, Bucky didn't die, right?
No, he got saved by Peggy.
Right. And then the scene that he dies in the movie, wasn't it the train scene?
Mm-hmm. He falls out of the train.
Okay. Doesn't Steve get hurt in that scene instead?
Yeah, in that scene he's in the suit and the suit blows up, and I was like, does Steve Rogers become Winter Soldier?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. But then, like, I looked away,
so
and then later,
cool if they showed shit like that.
Yeah, when I looked away and I looked back, and then I saw Steve was fine, I was like, oh, never mind. See, they almost had me interested. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, that's one thing. I'm glad we're talking about this because it reminded me two things about that episode that number one, I like the animation of the whole show. Mm-hmm. I like the cell shading. It to me, it looks like rotoscope. Like it looks kind of like a rotoscope, and that's it. I think that's a good decision for this because they're attempting to make these characters look like the real characters that we know from movies. So I think to have it be this kind of
some of them, I feel like they didn't even try. That didn't look like Natasha. Are they just that mad at Scarlett Johansson?
It's in her contract that she can't be in this. But yeah, I like the animation, and then also like in that first episode when Steve is flying around in that robotic suit, like the fact that like this is like proto Iron Man, that was cool. And then I like it reminded me of like Castle in the Sky.
Wait, what?
The Studio Ghibli.
Like my brain. Hold on. Have I seen that one?
You should have, because it's a great one.
What's it about? Why don't I remember it?
Castle in the Sky. It's a castle in the sky. It's like a myth. It's like a mythical castle in the sky, and they're trying to find it, and then they eventually do find it, and blah blah blah.
Okay, yeah, you said castle. The reason I was like, what? The reason I said it like that is because you said castle in the sky, and my brain immediately went to Howl's Moving Castle. So I was like, how the fuck did that remind him of that? So my brain has been on a trip in the past 20 seconds. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like by the end of that movie, because like it's a castle in the sky, but like it's been abandoned, and so like. And it was like they had like robots on it that were like servants or whatever. And so like when they get there, these robots are like overgrown with like vines and shit. By the end of it, one of these robots comes alive in like a very Terminator way. And it's like flying around, and because it's a castle, and like so like he was flying around, and it was just like I was like, this reminds me of Castle in the Sky. I liked it. That's why I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Okay.
So those are the only two things.
All right. Episode 2. I have way more to say about episode 2. No. So this beginning on, is it Morag? That shit with Jaimin Hunsu's character was hilarious. To like, he looked so happy to be fighting him, and then when he knocked him out, he's like, classic Star-Lord. And he's laying there looking so
like he's such more a legend than the
yeah. So, you know my name. It's like, yeah, you're Star-Lord.
He ends up being raised by Yondu, is that his name? And he is a Ravager, and so is Thanos. And so it's like Thanos and Yondu and him and like Seth Rogen. Who else was there? Was one other voice I recognized. Or did it sound, who was the other guy that wasn't Seth Rogen? Oh God, hold on. I'll look it up after.
Was Seth Rogen? Was Seth Rogen in that?
Seth Rogen was. Oh God, which one was he? Hold on, let me pull up IMDb now. How did you not? I mean, that's the one. As soon as he was like, "Oh, that's Seth Rogen," I don't remember what the character was though. Who was? Right? Was it Seth Rogen? Yeah, pretty sure it was. Brian Andrews is the. We're talking about the second episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. I'm sorry, I'm still pulling up the cast. It's really interesting to me how they why some people were brought back for their roles and some weren't. Like,
yeah, it was really weird. Like even Dave Bautista, he apparently wasn't even asked.
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
They weren't even in it. Like the actual because
yes,
Gamora
he was.
wasn't in it. Was he?
Wait, Dave Bautista's character was.
Yeah, Drax was in there.
Drax was
not
in
a
it.
lot, but he was in
I
there.
Yeah.
remember Drax. Gamora wasn't, right? Because I know I didn't see her. Or
No, I didn't see
Her
her.
group.
All right,
Are you
maybe
talking
he
about
was.
Seth Green?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
also,
he was Howard the Duck,
Seth
yeah.
Green was Howard the Duck. No, but somebody. Maybe I'm thinking from the other episode. Hold on. Okay, yeah, nope. I must have been thinking Seth Green. I'm sorry, but Taserface was Chris Sullivan, and then his brother, the Guardians of the Galaxy guy's brother.
Yeah, Sean Gunn. Yeah.
Thank you. He was Kraglin. Okay, so Thanos doesn't. He gives up his. That must be our dinner. He gives up his quest to, his get the stones and kill half of the world because of a good argument from T'Challa.
Yeah, it was like the debate team. And I love that he's like Thanos keeps trying to sell it to people.
Yeah.
And they're like, that sounds like genocide. And he's like, no.
Because it's random. So no, inefficient.
No, it's random, man. You get it? It's like he's trying to sell someone on like his idea of like a timeshare or something.
Yeah.
He's like some Shark Tank. He's like, oh, come on, man. Like, come on, genocide.
Invest. Nebula
sorry, I'm out.
Nebula is basically Jessica Rabbit. And we find out Wakanda is gone because he says that Yondu did try to return him, but it was gone. And I was like, so there was like a moment where, like I was like, and why? Why would Wakanda be gone? Particularly because we know for the longest time, like the true Wakanda was hidden,
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that's interesting, but I don't like it, but okay. So put a pin in that, because my brain changed later. I thought something else was going to happen, and it didn't. But they go after the collector for the embers of, why can't I read my own handwriting? Ceresis? I don't know. It's not important. Anyway, when someone said, who said it? I don't remember who said it, but this is what I have in my notes. T'Challa is the soul of the ship. That feels racist. Whenever you associate black people with soul, it just makes me feel like, I did like, there was a scene, somebody, oh my God, who was it supposed to be? And they said Robin Leach instead.
Robin Hood.
Yes, because for me, like that legend, you tell me like Robin Leach.
That was like that. It felt so much like the movie.
Yeah.
Where who was it they talked about? Was it like in the movie? They're like, was it? I don't remember. It was somebody in the 80s. Maybe David Hasselhoff.
Oh, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
And, he's like, is Footloose still the greatest movie there ever was? And Peter's like, it never was. He goes, what? He looks so hurt by that. He was like, wait, what?
And so like that Robin Hood scene, that felt very similar.
We got, so like you said, we got with this thing with Howard, with the collector, we got to see Howard the Duck. Seth Green did the voice. That was cool. I like that he got distracted by a bar. It was like,
yeah, it was nice because like whenever they had Howard the Duck in that movie, everybody was like, oh, they're gonna fix Howard the Duck after that shitty movie, and they never have. But you know,
I know Jack was upset when we when we first saw the movie and they didn't use them other than in the cage. Like Jack was upset that they didn't show more of them.
Yeah, they were gonna do a show on Hulu and they canceled it.
We got more of the Black Order, but this time they're still bad, but they work for the Collector. And in the movies, that's Thanos' people. So we got more Proxima Midnight. And Carrie Coon did the voice for her again. That was cool. So when Ebony Maw and yeah. When he's going through the Collector's place and he finds that Wakandan ship, I thought, because like as far as we know in the MCU, like as far as we know, because they haven't shown it, they don't got spaceships in Wakanda. They could. I don't doubt that and maybe they do, but they haven't shown us that. I don't doubt that they might start making some after that shit with Thanos. But it didn't, like, I didn't think, oh, why would there be a Wakandan spaceship? I just thought, oh, we haven't seen a Wakandan spaceship, but it makes sense that they would have one, especially when we hear the message. And I thought, oh, is that why Wakanda fell? Were they caught off guard or something because they started looking for him? Like, building space, you know what I mean? Like investing, like if something, did him being gone make Wakanda vulnerable? That's what I was thinking throughout the whole episode. Then when I saw the ship, I was like, oh, was it because they focused on this, looking for him all these years, and they ended up, getting attacked or just something happened? But then it was just a lie, so never mind.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, like, I was so ready to be pissed at this because I really didn't like, and like I said, it turned out to be a lie, but I really didn't like the idea of him making that choice to leave and then that leading to Wakanda falling. Yeah. I didn't like the idea of them putting that on him. Like, I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
So I'm glad it wasn't that.
But it was like, go ahead.
I was going to say something like the Collector, like they really buffed the fuck out of him.
Yeah, they had to make him more of a threat.
And I loved it because like he had shit, like he apparently, like he had Captain America's shield. He had Hela's helmet. Yeah, like he apparently fought the Avengers and beat them.
I like Yondu saving him. He was like, "Get away from my boy" or something like that. That was nice. Nebula saved her dad. That was cool. Am I supposed to know who the dog is?
Yeah, he was in.
Yeah, it's Cosmo, I think.
Yeah, Cosmo.
Wait, where? What? Who am I supposed to?
He was in one of the cages in the Collector's place in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, that's the first time you see him in. Okay, so I'm supposed to recognize him from the movie.
Right. Yeah, I mean he's from the comics too.
Okay.
But it was so funny when Jamin Hansu's character, like you said, Nebula saves them, and he's like, "How could you do that to my best friend?"
Yeah,
Star-Lord.
I think somebody was like, "You just got here last week." I didn't realize not a lot of time had passed.
She's like, "No,
he's like the Coulson of the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy."
Oh yeah.
But then like she's like, "I'm saving you," and then he's like, "Okay, well, never mind. I didn't mean that."
I like that,
and
I like that was like granted we didn't see a lot of his personality, but that just felt like such a change. Like that was like a fun thing to see in this episode. These characters be different. But yeah, then they take him back to Wakanda, and that was nice. That was really nice. And I thought, didn't that actor die too? I'm sorry. John Caney. Oh no, he's still alive. Look at me just killing folks.
The guy who played T'Chaka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still alive. I don't know why I thought this man died. I thought he died
in the movie. Maybe that's
I thought I had read something that the actor had died after the movie. And so that's just something I always thought. And so when I was watching this, I just even assumed there was like a moment where I was like, I wonder if that's his voice. And because I knew that this was the last thing that Chadwick did. So I was like, it's possible. Like, when did they start doing this? Maybe he got to do his voice before he passed as well. But he's not even dead, so never mind. Hold on a second. Go ahead.
And then, like, Peter works at Dairy Queen now instead of, like, being Star-Lord.
Yep, and then his dad shows up to...
Yeah, and his dad fucking ego.
Destroy the world.
Yeah.
And people were like, you know, this shows how... Like, it was so funny because I watched, like, a reactor, white guys, and they were like, about this, they were like, I'm just glad that, like, they didn't make Peter, like, useless or something like that. Like, they didn't shit on him or something because they made T'Challa such a good Star-Lord. Mm-hmm. Like, it'd be like, why would we need Peter Quill type thing? And I was like, white people cannot help but, like, care and think about, consider the feelings of all white people, even fictional ones. Yeah, like I wasn't thinking about Peter Quill through this whole fucking episode, and they could have ended it and I would have been fine. I didn't need to see him in the Dairy Queen. It was cool. And when the dad showed, like, oh yeah, okay. But like, we didn't need that. And they were like, I'm so glad they did that because it just showed that, you know, he didn't have that in his life, you know, like T'Challa did. T'Challa had that strong foundation, so it makes sense that he would go out into the universe and be blah, blah, blah. Peter didn't have that. And it's like, fuck Peter and fuck Chris Pratt.
But like, yeah, like, he's gonna be a bad guy now. Like,
right.
Did they get that part?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, his daddy's gonna come like he and manipulate him and turn him. Yeah, no. Mm-hmm.
And just like the one thing that I obviously like the elephant in the room, hearing Chadwick Boseman's voice was awesome, obviously. Mm-hmm. And like the thing about it was like beyond like the first, you know, few lines, I was like, because like obviously it was like, oh, like hearing him again. But mm-hmm. then it was like, because he was so good and particularly as that character, like I honestly just forgot.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I just was like, oh, cool. Like, here's Chadwick Boseman and he's T'Challa. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like, it wasn't even something I was thinking about after like the first couple of lines because it was like, he just was the character.
Yeah.
Until the very end, really and they punch you in the gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The tribute. All right. So this third episode, someone did warn me, or I saw something on Twitter, and they were like, the third episode was like a murder mystery, which I was like, yeah, a whodunit. That's what it was. They described it as a whodunit. So I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And yeah, it kind of was. They did this interesting thing where it kind of reminded me of how they would do the title cards when they change locations in the movies. You know mm-hmm. what I mean? Monday, Tony dies. Yeah. In the movie, when they're at that donut place and she gives him the shot because they figured out a way to help the issues that he'd been having with the thing in his chest. Here though, he dies.
Yeah, and like, you know, obviously it's animated, and like beyond that, it's like a what if episode, and beyond that they're fictional characters, but like still seeing him die, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, Tony Stark just died, and like in Iron Man 2 like nothing happened. None of that shit that we saw happened now because he's dead. Mm-hmm. It was so weird.
And then it puts Natasha on the hook for his murder. I'm sorry, I was pulling up the names because I knew that was not Liv Tyler, and I suspected that it wasn't. At times she sounded like Natasha. She sounded like Scarlet.
Yeah, it was Lake Bell.
Lake Bell, yeah. And Stephanie Penicello did Betty Ross. There were some times where she sounded just like Liv Tyler, and other times where she didn't, and I was just like, yeah, that's not Liv Tyler. But the times that she did made me doubt it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, God, it sounds like Liv Tyler. And Michael Patrick McGill did General Ross.
Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't get was it William Hurt? Why couldn't they get him?
I
Was
don't
that who
know.
it was?
They couldn't get or well, I shouldn't say they couldn't get. They didn't get for whatever reason. Uh Captain Marvel either. What's her name? Brie Larson.
Yeah. I mean that's weird. Like the ones like I understand like the one like maybe Scarlett Johansson because like maybe she's done, right? Like she's not in Marvel anymore. But like
Right.
I know like Thunderbolt Ross, like he's around still. And like obviously Brie Larson, like Captain Marvel, she's around. So like I don't know why they wouldn't be on this show. It doesn't make any sense
And
unless they're just
especially
like you're not
because
paying
it's
me enough.
yeah, I was just gonna say, and it's because it's like voiceover work, it does feel like the kind of thing like how much could scheduling have been a problem?
Right? Because like you said, like you alluded to earlier, like they could have recorded this years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been working on this show for like 2 years.
And it's something that you can kind of do anywhere for the most part. Okay. And Tony dies on Monday. Sorry, I'm eating my dinner. Natasha escapes. I thought on Tuesday, I thought we were going to get like the Captain America in the elevator scene with her.
Yeah, it did seem like that, right?
Mm-hmm. If any of you gentlemen want to step out now before we get started.
But see, that's like that because that's where I thought this whole thing was going. I thought it was going to go the whole Hydra route, and that would tie into Hydra. But it didn't go the Hydra route that I was expecting. I thought
That's
Hydra
a good
was the
thing,
one
though,
behind
right?
the murdering.
And it's not a good thing?
No,
To
it's
you?
just that's what I expected. So I don't know.
Okay.
That's just when it gets to who the actual killer is, it just wasn't what I expected.
Also, on Tuesday, Clinton kills Thor with the good hair. And then he's dead later.
It was so like it's so like I said, it's just jarring. Like that's the great thing about this show is like seeing them die before any of this shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
But like before they even knew who Thor was, he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like okay, well shit.
On Wednesday, I couldn't remember her name. I wrote Natasha meets with Blank and Bruce, Betty. And they figure out that the Avengers are being targeted. They recreate that breezeway scene for the Hulk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. Although, you know what? Something about the way this scene played, like, I think it's by the time Natasha got down on the ground and she was saying something to Betty, I thought Betty was the culprit for a second.
I did too. I thought she was gonna be like She-Hulk or some shit.
There was something weird. I can't remember if it's just like the way she delivered her lines or something like that, but it just felt like, wait, is she doing this because she doesn't want him to become an Avenger or something? Because it was right after we got the realization that they were just targeting people who were on his list. Because they never actually became the Avengers. So it's like, who would have access to this thing? You know, and something about that, it made her real suspicious. But then he blew up and that was nasty.
Yeah, like, and it was like, when it started happening, I was like, oh shit. Because they're like, he's like, I can't die, remember? And then she's like, he can't die. I was like, he's dying right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was just, it looked so painful.
Yeah, it just, It,
like
you just knew.
Blowing up like a blueberry in his chocolate factory.
Loki arrives. He's like, I will fuck all this shit up because y'all killed my brother.
And this is where I thought Loki was the person.
He was like, and I really didn't like my brother, but my dad said I had to come fuck all y'all shit up because you killed my brother. So here I am. Natasha does some digging and she realizes that it's all about Hope, but she doesn't survive. She also dies. I wasn't 100% sure that if she had died, like, because it did that thing where like she was like trying to yell into the phone and the person dragged her. But then like at the end, all the caskets, it had the little Black Widow symbol on it.
Mm-hmm.
So was gonna page Carol. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
On Thursday, we learned that Hank wanted revenge for Hope.
Yeah,
Now,
so like that's the what if. What if Hope died? I guess it's like it's like
she
I guess he
died
would
as
get
a
fucked up.
yes, as a shield agent. When he turns small and he charges at Fury and Fury bitch slaps him down. Anybody who's ever tried to kill a fly knows how hard that is.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. And I just thought Fury was just that good at first.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? We found out about him.
Right? I was like, did we know they could do all this? But because it was Loki, that makes the stuff he was saying funnier. Because there was at one point he said something, and Loki was basically like, I don't care, but he wouldn't care because he had no hope. So when we find out that it was really Loki and not Nick Fury, they catch Hank, and it's all over. Loki's like, I think I'm gonna stay. Nick Fury's like, how long?
And then like he just comes up and he's like, my loyal subject.
I was like, oh yeah, like the fucking UN, right?
And it's like, of course, because there are no Avengers to stop him.
So then on Friday, under this Loki domination, Nick Fury goes, and presumably he's bringing Cap out of the ice. Now, is that Peggy?
No, this is me, Steve.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peggy didn't get frozen, for one.
How do we know?
Because the way that she went into the alternate dimension and then she came out in 70 years in the first episode.
Ah, I missed that.
Yeah, so that was how she ended up like in modern times. Whereas, Steve was frozen. She
gotcha. Okay.
went into with the Cthulhu monster and then she came out. And then for 2, that's another universe.
You mean Chichila?
Sure.
So he's going to get him out the ice, and he also has Carol.
Yeah, I loved it because he was like, welcome back, Captain. And then it shows her, and it's like, oh, he's talking to her.
That was cool. Hold on. Let me pull up. I don't know if you guys have more on the episode, let me know. I'm going to pull up feedback.
I liked Coulson. He's like, I'm not going to say my password. And then it
was heart.
Hashtag Steve.
Yeah, it's like Steve. I heart Steve. 0704.
Oh my god. It was something else. Oh, with Coulson, just the whole bit, the gag about Thor's hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Barton sees him, and he's like, "No, really, he has some beautiful hair."
Yeah, Coulson was right. Okay. And I liked at one point when they're driving across the desert, you see the Watcher in the sky.
Yeah. I noticed that in that episode. Did they do it in the other episodes?
That's the question I had, was like, did I miss it in those
right
episodes? Because it feels like they had to have done it in other episodes.
Yeah, it feels like the type of thing that, like, to do it there and not anywhere else. And then, okay, so that's making me wonder, though. Okay, well, one, we know this show already has a second season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Loki. Is this just separate? They're not... only reason I ask, and I kind of hope it's not, because this is a lot. My brain's tired. I'm tired. It's been a long day. But, like, there's no chance that any of this means anything in the cinematic universe, right? Because of the whole multiverse stuff. But it does feel like, I'm sorry, I'll let you answer. I just want to say, the reason I asked is because when I saw that, and then I was like, oh, fuck, was it in the other episodes? To me, if it is, it feels like it makes no sense why it would be in this one and not the other ones. But if it is, to me, that implies these stories could be connected. which is why I thought that it would be Peggy, because I totally missed the ending of that episode. Like, I was like, oh, okay, that would be kind of cool. Like, if you make it so that all of these things, these what ifs, are connected in its own kind of like what if universe. But anyway.
I don't know. I think that these are all individual universes. Yeah, like, I don't think we're gonna find out that the only way they're connected is through the Watcher, and the fact that he observes all of the universes, and so like that's to answer your question. I don't think there's gonna be anything about these episodes or this entire show that ties to the MCU, like, you know, the main canon or whatever. But if there is something, I wouldn't like it would be cool if it was like, oh, here's Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher.
Yeah. That makes the most sense. Yeah.
And then like it wouldn't be like none of the stuff that actually happens in these episodes would matter to the MCU, but him, they
wouldn't even need to come up. But he has like a wealth of knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, the only thing about
that possibility and stuff.
Yeah. The only thing about that I would say is like he says, he doesn't interfere with anything. And so
that makes me feel like that's a lie.
Yeah.
He's saying it. It feels like he will eventually.
So like they would have to write a way that it makes sense that now this one time he has to intervene. Like that's how, you know, and like that would be cool. Like the same kind of way that like they go to, I don't remember the guy's name, but Peter Dinklage's character, when they have to go and meet him, and it was like he was just like a guy who's out there in the universe. Like it would be cool if they were like, we gotta go see the Watcher or something like that.
Didn't they mention that though? Didn't the dwarves who make and I only call them that because I think that's what they're called in the universe, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and it's something like the dwarf star or whatever. Okay, didn't they mention that in one of these episodes? Didn't they say something about like the dwarves who make? And I was like, oh, they're talking about, what was it called? Neverdelia or however the fuck that was.
And it had to have been the second one.
Yeah, it was one of these episodes. It was like a quick reference, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the one who made the Thor stuff."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there's. I want to read this feedback really quick. Donnie, did you eat? I'm sorry, you guys. I don't like eating on a podcast, but like, I went from. Yeah, Donnie hasn't eaten all day. He just woke up a little while ago, and I went from one podcast to another. And when I'm done with this, I still got to edit both of them. But
Donnie has to leave from this podcast and go to work.
Yep.
So he doesn't have time after the podcast.
Right, to eat. So that's why we're eating while we're talking to you. I'm so sorry. 2 quick bits of feedback, and then I want to talk about one more thing. Peyton says, episode 1. I loved the first episode. Peggy was beating the brakes off those Nazis. That she was. She was buff as fuck, too.
Yeah, like it's always good just to see Nazis get the shit beaten out of them.
Absolutely.
That could just be.
Yeah, that could just be a channel.
Yeah, I mean it could be the news.
Yeah, right. Live footage all day, just streaming of Nazis getting their ass kicked.
There's Al Roker out there. This Nazi's getting his ass kicked.
Then we could just do like the weather guys, like with the hurricanes, how they're standing, there's just chaos behind them. It's just Nazis getting pummeled.
He's just out there like, look at this. There's another punch.
Uh-huh. Back to you, Fred. Like, no. Let's stay watching the Nazis get their ass beat. Anyway.
Pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. It's so crazy. An obscure comic is now part of the MCU. Looking forward to the new episodes and podcasts. Wait, what obscure comic? Wait, what?
I'm guessing they mean the What If.
Ah! Gotcha. Gregory says, I'm enjoying What If, and I look forward to hearing y'all talk about the year's internet obsession with giant women.
Yeah, that's true.
Since this year's Resident Evil game was revealed. Listen, I just want to say, as a woman who has been tall her entire life, fuck y'all. Because y'all didn't have this obsession when I was feeling like a fucking beanpole, tall ass, boys made fun of me. Anyway. Yeah, I'm a little bitter. Whatever.
You got the last laugh.
I really did. No. Gregory then says, negative ass people saying they don't like Super Soldier Peggy and how it's not realistic she'd be into little Steve Rogers. That's Donnie. No. I don't know who you talking about, negative ass people.
The same guys.
I didn't pay enough attention to that episode to have a problem with that.
I mean, do you really? I mean, it's the same guys who are like the sexist assholes who are like, she doesn't look like a real woman. She looks like a man. That kind of shit. They're the same Nazis that we want to see punched on the news.
Men are so fucking terrible. Anyway, were those people around during the golden era of Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman? We can't get rid of Tom Cruise tonight, apparently. Have they heard of porn? Wait, what?
Have they heard of porn?
Is there a porn category for little guys and big women?
Probably.
Yes. I mean, yeah, probably.
I don't know if that's a wholehearted ass yes.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
That was a very, very, very confident yes, John. Look, you had links at the ready. Okay.
I mean, I can't help if I'm cultured.
Like, don't hate me because my porn collection is vast and varied.
I am well read.
And eclectic. Anyway, this Captain Carter could show up in live action, and I'm here for it. Yeah. I mean, you would be there for it. I don't know why people like Peggy so much. Why do people like Peggy? Is it just because she's a woman?
Well, I told you it's like the people that really like the show, like because I didn't watch Agent Carter.
I watched some of it and I stopped. I just couldn't.
But the people that were really into that show really love the character.
I mean, I think it's because like similar to what's in this episode, like the whole idea that like as a character, Peggy was like that, like anti-sexism, like she's a woman doing a man's job, like that kind of stuff. Like she was like, a strong woman doing shit.
That's what I mean. I didn't mean just because she's a woman. I meant that. That's what I meant. Like they're rooting for the fact that they have a woman doing these things, which I appreciate. I'm just not compelled by Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Finally, he says the second episode was so damn good. I can understand why some people may have started crying. Nigga, you cried. Stop playing with me. I can understand why some people may have started crying. Okay.
People cried at the first one?
No, he said the second one.
Oh, okay. I can see that. I was like, why are people crying at that first one?
That was me. I was bored. Anyway. Yeah, he said the second episode was so damn good. Okay, that's it. Hold on. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me check the email because I forgot Patreon's such a dick with feedback sometimes. Oh, my God, guys.
And you said you had one more thing?
The... Spider-Man trailer. Did not like it. I hope it's a joke.
I liked it a lot.
God, I hope it's a joke.
What part?
All of it.
What do you mean a joke? Like
that's the whole concept. That's the whole point. We've been told that's the movie for 2 years.
I hope they're lying.
You hope it's a joke that Doc Ock is there and all that.
I don't know. I don't know. That I wasn't feeling it.
Like this big cat.
I just hope this is a different universe. I don't know. I don't like it. Why? Like it. Okay. Here's the thing with the trailer. I will just say, it's not even like it's a bad trailer. It. If you want me to care that you're bringing back, okay, that's the other thing. That may be the other thing. Like, I guess you have to really care about like the Captain America story or the Peggy story, or even just really like that first movie clearly to want to see it again in any way. I just don't care about Doc Ock like that. Like, I didn't care when he was the main villain of his movie. And now it's like, oh, they brought him back and they're bringing back everyone. And it's all this stuff. And I think it's supposed to feel like an Avengers type thing, or kind of a mashup of all these cool and, cool
Sinister
bad guys.
Six.
And, huh?
It's like Sinister. It's supposed to be like, I presumably it's supposed to be sort of like a Sinister Six team up.
And I feel like, though, John, that trailer didn't feel like that. That trailer just felt like a paint by number superhero movie trailer, except all of the things that were supposed to be like, ooh, were like, we already knew. Like, so who was surprised to see him? Like,
Well, like,
okay.
I think like part of it, like that trailer did feel a little disjointed. Like, I didn't think it was a great trailer. I was excited just because I'm excited to see that movie.
And let me be very clear. I just don't like this trailer. This trailer was underwhelming and did nothing for me.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the movie. I just kind of felt like, I don't know if it was, we were thirsty or people were.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, because I feel like, because that trailer leaked and then they released that the trailer the day after. And so I don't know if maybe they weren't gonna release the trailer that day, and then because it leaked the day before, they just put together a trailer.
Yeah.
And then so in that leaked trailer, there were like previs scenes that weren't finished yet, and so like I don't know if maybe they took those scenes out of it so they could release it, the next day or something, and that maybe that's one reason why the trailer just kind of felt like it didn't have a through line to it.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I didn't like the whole, fucking Stephen Strange. He felt goofy, like.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I don't know, like, for what reason?
Dad to Strange.
I don't like it. I don't like
Father
all
Strange.
of the, like, this is like all this serious shit just happened, and Peter wants you to go do a spell, and you just go down the basement and do it, and it's like.
Yeah, he was like, "Can I borrow your lawnmower?" It was that kind of,
all right,
Yeah,
it was
it
that
was
kind of energy.
Yeah, it just felt, I don't know, it just felt silly, just not where I wanted to be.
The thing is, like, I hope people like Doctor Strange because it feels like he's their new Tony Stark.
Yes, yeah.
Because he's
and I'm
in
fine with that.
Spider-Man. He's in obviously he's in the Doctor Strange movie. He was gonna be in WandaVision before COVID or whatever, like,
right,
forced him to not do that. So like they're spreading his ass out all over the place.
Yeah.
And so like it feels like he's like their new guy.
Yeah. And that's cool, but like, I don't know, it didn't feel like the same character, and so it just, I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of, it did feel like they kind of start them up.
Yeah.
They kind of wanted to make him.
It's not going to be Doctor Strange. It's going to be Mephisto.
I honestly, I hope it's somebody else. That just felt like, what? This is what we're doing. This is what starts it off. They fucked up a spell that he shouldn't have been fucking doing anyway. Like, okay.
I did like the memes afterwards. They're like, because he's like, oh, nobody's gonna remember me. He's like, nope, nobody's gonna remember you. It's like, all right, then just go tell him again. Hey, what's the big deal?
It's not that easy.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. Oh my God, my brain is a little fried right now, you guys. I'm sorry. I know I have like at least another hour of editing ahead of me. Attack on Titan comes out today. This will be out tomorrow. God, so much. What else, Donnie? Black Summer season 2. We're continuing that on Wednesday. Of course, more Attack on Titan every Thursday. We're winding down season 3. Very excited about that. And more Money Heist. We have got to record for the season 1 finale, which we've seen already. We just haven't recorded yet. I cannot wait to talk about that shit. That show is crazy. It's some fucking bonkers shit, John. But yeah. And Signal. Kaylee and I started a new K-drama very, it's like a murder mystery, timey-wimey time travel stuff going on. It's really good. We did the first 2 episodes last week. We'll be back for episodes 3 and 4 this Friday. So that's it. Thank you. Titans. When do we do? Yeah, well, we have time though. I'm just thinking, I'm just picturing the schedule in my head, what we have coming up like in the next week. Titans is not in the next week.
I mean, I didn't know, like, we talked about maybe doing it 1 episode.
Oh, I haven't watched episode 4 yet.
I think 4 and 5 are out now.
Yeah, well, no. 5? Really?
Because I watched maybe. I watched 4 right after we podcast.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, and then I think 5 just came out.
Oh,
I think that drops Sundays or some shit like that.
I don't know why I keep feeling like today's Friday. I wish. Okay. Well, I will watch episode 4 this week. I just feel like, man, don't let me commit to every week and then it sucks. I'll be mad. Then we just go back to 3 because y'all ain't doing this to me. I'm gonna watch episode 4. We can't trust Donnie. John, you got to watch episode 4.
All right.
Let's watch episode 4 and see how we feel. Donnie, you watched episode 4. Would you want to talk about episode 4 on its own? Or would you want to, like, was it good enough to talk about on its own? Or do you think we need to watch another episode or 2? You're the one working nights now. I know.
No, I'd another episode or 2.
Okay. But was it good?
Yeah.
Okay. John, we should watch episode 4. Not that we don't trust you, Donnie. But yeah, that's it.
If you like this for free, then you can pay for it at patreon.com/podcastfandom.
What he said. Thank you very much. I always forget to do the pitch thing at the end. I'm not very good at the pitching stuff. I just like do it, and then I'm very good at writing pitches though. Like I'll post on the thing like, oh, this is what we're doing, this is how much it costs to do this, and tweet it and stuff, but like talking about it, I'm just like, whatever, girl. Anyway. Yeah, thank you guys for listening. I'm going to go edit the fuck out of some podcasts now. It was very, very fun talking to you, John. Oh, never mind. This is not for y'all ears. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.